the station with the most local news. This is News 4 at 6:30.
Right now on News 4 at 6:30, put on notice. Buffalo's Common Council wants a new person to evaluate the city's first responders because the man currently holding the spot has come under fire.
And while this beast of a system behind me affects areas all over the eastern half of the U.S., we're only going to get a tiny but persistent slice of it. We'll have the latest timing and how much snow you can expect coming up.
And the mother of a daughter lost to gun violence faces the man charged with her death. Her message to him as he maintains his innocence. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight at 6:30. I'm Christy Kern.
And I'm Dave Graber. Snow is coming down in at least parts of western New York yet again, but will we see as much as we did on Friday? I think everyone is crossing their fingers to make sure that is not the case. Chief Meteorologist Todd Santos has the answer for us tonight in your forecast first at 6:30. Todd, good evening.
What if I just leave you hanging on that question? Good evening. Honestly, there will be a few areas that see numbers like that of heavy wet snow, but it's way east of us. I mean, it's portions of New England and far eastern New York. For us, we're going to just kind of deal with chances for on and off snow showers like the ones we saw today, but they'll kind of ramp up a little bit more tomorrow at this time. And then especially tomorrow night into Thursday, some slightly better coatings. The snow showers that maybe some of you noticed earlier with those big fat flakes that didn't really stick, especially around Buffalo, have moved on. 34 right now in both the city and the airport. Northeast wind around 5 miles per hour. This is what it looked like over the last couple of hours. Really in Potter County, probably the best chance area, maybe far southeastern Allegheny for some of this to actually stick, only because their temperatures have been around freezing, and for Coudersport in the upper 20s. Up near Buffalo, we're still above freezing, so it's not impossible, but you really need heavier snow to actually make it accumulate. So you look at the last hour, look how that even just fades off the radar. We still have a few areas in far northeastern Niagara County and Orleans where there are still a few of those fat flakes falling, but you're not going to find much tonight. I mean, a dusting on your car windshield now that the sun has gone down, and that's really about it. Looking down towards Coudersport, say the Ulysses area, even those snow showers are kind of starting to fade out of the area. Get closer to 8, 9 o'clock tonight, those will all be gone. Temperature-wise, here's an idea of why I'm saying a lot of these areas it won't stick. I mean, look at Albion, 37 degrees. 29, though, down in Coudersport, and that's why I was saying there it's likely sticking. And at least for tomorrow morning, get the idea that all areas will start off, say, below freezing, mainly a lot of upper 20s to around the 30-degree mark. That's the 6 o'clock in the morning temperature. By the afternoon, Buffalo is again expected to get above freezing. We will still see another chance for a rain-snow mix. So we'll take a look at that piece coming up, but it's really tomorrow night into Thursday that we'll see our next best chance for some snow to actually stick, especially in the city. We'll take a look at that coming up. Dave?
Todd, thank you. Buffalo's Common Council took a step forward today to remove the city's psychologist who conducts exams for Buffalo police and fire candidates.
Leaders say several complaints have been filed about the process. News 4's Jen Shantz is in Buffalo, where the action is taking place.
Well, the Common Council moved one step closer this evening to ousting the city's current psychologist, Dr. Jay Supnick. They agreed to issue a 30-day notice for the doctor amid concerns not only of his personal practices, but of the psychological evaluation process in general. Common Council member Chris Scanlon says several dozen applicants for Buffalo Fire and Buffalo Police complained they were denied approval to join the force based on failing the psych portion of the exam. They claim they failed for non-legitimate reasons and accused the doctor of favoritism. Scanlon says some applicants complained about the doctor's questions into their sex and personal lives, stating they weren't relevant to the job. Initially, most of the complaints came from African-American candidates, but Council President Darius Pridgen noted now applicants from many races are complaining. Pridgen agreed the whole evaluation process needs to be looked at. Here's Common Council member Scanlon, who initially brought these concerns to the Common Council.
I've raised concerns for the past several years about his practices and that company's practices, but I think the tipping point was last Tuesday during a committee meeting when a large group of members from the African American community who came in and discussed the issues they had with the process.
Spokesperson for the Buffalo Police Department and Buffalo Fire said in a statement that with new leadership in both agencies, the review process for applicants will be looked at. The council unanimously approved the appointment of Byron Lockwood as the police department's new commissioner this afternoon. I reached out to Dr. Supnick, who operates out of Rochester, for a comment. He hasn't gotten back to me. Scanlon says the city will likely put out an RFP to fill his position once it's vacant. Reporting from City Hall tonight, Jen Shantz, News 4 at 6:30.
All right, Jen, thanks very much. Also at the meeting this afternoon, the council adopted a resolution to pursue active shooter training at community centers, pools, and ice rinks throughout the city. South District Council member Christopher Scanlon filed the resolution in the wake of the deadly school shooting in South Florida. The Common Council recently underwent this training with the BPD SWAT team. Scanlon says he wants this same training done at other facilities. Democrats who control the New York Assembly have approved 5 bills aimed at reducing gun violence.
It comes just one day after the Republican-controlled Senate passed 15 bills focused on improving school security. The measures would keep firearms out of the hands of people deemed a danger to themselves or others. They would also set a longer waiting period for a gun to be delivered to a person who hasn't cleared a background check. People convicted of domestic violence also wouldn't be able to buy a firearm.
Passage of these bills today marks yet another step in our efforts to curb gun violence. Yet it is not the end, and we will continue to fight for other common-sense gun safety measures so that we can say we have made every effort to address the scourge of gun violence in our communities.
The bills would also ban bump stocks. People who live out of state would have to prove they're mentally fit to own a gun in New York. Crime Stoppers Buffalo has received almost 70 tips in just 24 hours after launching an initiative to take down drug dealers.
Now, we first told you about this yesterday. Those who call police with credible tips can receive up to $2,500. The Erie County District Attorney's Office is partnering with Crime Stoppers and other law enforcement agencies, all in an effort to prevent more opioid overdose deaths. Tips made must lead to an arrest or indictment to receive that reward money.
A Buffalo man will spend at least 65 years behind bars for his role in the death of an innocent bystander. 36-year-old Leron Bailey was sentenced today. Bailey was found guilty in January of firing multiple shots into a parked car in June 2013. It happened at Stevens Avenue and East Ferry Street. 20-year-old Diamond Toller was in the back seat. She was shot in the heart and died. A man was also shot in the driver's seat but survived. Toller maintained he wasn't the shooter before being sentenced.
It wasn't for her to meant to get hurt. It was for this. It was for Moses. It was a situation with somebody else, and Moses had nothing to do with me. I was just there to be a lookout. I was never the shooter.
I never have a chance to be a grandmother. She had no kids. You know, over senseless killing out here in these streets. Kids can't walk these streets no more to go to the store because of this man right here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Police say the man in the driver's seat was Bailey's intended target.
Just maybe if you would have stopped and got out of the car and checked on him and maybe called them, maybe Damon would still be here.
It was an emotional scene in Cheektowaga Court today as the girlfriend of an 18-year-old killed in a hit-and-run crash asked the judge for the maximum sentence for the man behind the wheel. That driver, 37-year-old Paul Hintermeyer, was sentenced to 6 years in prison for hitting Damian Gara while riding his bicycle in Cheektowaga. Hintermeyer admitted he was drunk at the time of the crash. Gara's mother says his death is taking a toll on the entire family.
He has 2 younger brothers that fight every day just to go on, including myself. Thursdays I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to be here anymore. The loss of my son has really hurt a whole lot of people.
Gara was hit on Shanley Street. Both he and Hintermeyer lived in that area. A former Brockport kindergarten teacher has pleaded guilty to child pornography charges.
Roland Yackel II told federal agents he was addicted to child porn in November. He also admitted to viewing and distributing it. Today, he pleaded guilty to receipt of child porn. U.S. Attorney's Office arrested Yackel last July. An investigation linked him to an internet site used to view and distribute the disturbing images. Yackel faces up to 20 years in prison. He'll be sentenced in June.
It's day 4 of the jury deliberations in the Joseph Prococo trial, and they've come to a close following a series of notes from jurors who say they are both emotionally and physically drained. Now, jurors have been deliberating for more than 20 hours in the bribery and corruption case, and that is against Governor Andrew Cuomo's former top aide, Joseph Prococo. In a series of notes, jurors said they needed to stop due to personal and work issues. Another note said they can only agree to disagree, hinting that they're deadlocked. Court resumes Thursday morning when we're expecting to hear what the judge plans to do next.
Chaos erupted in Albany. Airbnb hosts and activists are pushing for better legislation. The rally took a turn when actor Danny Glover tried to speak. He was there on behalf of Airbnb. He had to be ushered out. People from the Hotel Trades Council accused him of being bought out by corporations and being against the working class.
There are millions of stories within the whole confines of this extraordinary, I think, imaginative way of democratizing what we would call tourism.
The unions for the hotel workers feel Airbnb is hurting business. Airbnb representatives say it's another way for people to earn extra money in New York. Still to come on News 4 at 6:30, the president and founder of Resurgence Brewing Company joins us live on set. He's breaking down their new business venture in Buffalo.